When you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, nobody knows better what you want to accomplish than you. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is, do people understand what you want to accomplish? Do they understand the product? Do they understand the service? And so a lot of times you hear people talk about, you got to know the problem. You got to know the problem. But if you don't even know how to articulate the problem, and not only articulate it, but to make everyone else a raving fan of what you're talking about, you will just be another person with a really good idea and then become very jaded because you feel like, don't nobody support me, my cousins won't, my auntie won't, you know? But it's like you have to learn how to say what it is that you want other people to understand about a product, a service that you're offering, and then say it in such a way where it's whatever you got, I want. Whatever you tell me you're doing, we going. You know, it's important to be able to, you know, communicate in that way.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome back, y'all. This is another episode of a marketing podcast. We still don't have a slogan or a tagline or whatever we need to figure out to say at the beginning of these episodes, but we're going to work on it. We're going to figure it out. You may be wondering why we're sitting this close to each other, considering, you know, we be beefing. But it is because her favorite thing is happening, which is we have a guest.
Yes.
On the episode today. Would you like to do the honors of...
Would you like me to do the honors?
I don't think I have much of a choice here.
Okay, y'all. Can you get the drum roll? Okay, so today, y'all. Can't be laughing.
I'm just trying, don't mess it up.
Okay,
I will jump in.
Okay. We have an entrepreneur. We have a business owner. She works in economic, business, and community development, and most importantly, she is a mother. She just had her little baby munchkin not too much over like a year. It hasn't been a year yet?
He's one. Yeah.
Oh, he's so cute. Y'all got to see him.
Shout out to my dad.
But we have Alycia Levels-Moore.
Hey. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you guys for finally inviting me.
Thank you for letting us use your place.
Taylor, haven't I been wanting her on here for the longest, though?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You just said that today, but I'm fine with that.
That's wild.
Okay.
Well, we are so happy to have you. As y'all can tell, this probably going to be a good little key because we cut stuff together.
Yes.
But very, very excited to have you here. We've talked a little bit about this in our random rants and soapboxes that we be having out in the world. But I thought, you know, we could bring some of that conversation here.
For sure.
For some of our audience members, because as a business owner, as someone who is in community development, business development, economic development, you get to see a lot. And so I think it's important for people who are interested in marketing, interested in communications, and other small business owners to understand really the value of what it is we do. And I think the best people to hear that from other business owners who understand.
Yes.
But before we get too deep into that, I would just love for you to be able to tell people about who you are and what you do in your own words.
Girl, listen, it's a lot. So I'm like, are we starting at birth? Are we starting from, where are we going?
I don't know that we have to start from birth, but we can if you would like to.
Because it was miraculous. But
exactly.
I'm not saying
miraculous conception.
I'm sitting right here.
Okay, but no, seriously, I have always been super entrepreneurial, and I'll tie a little bit into some things that I was introduced to when I was younger that I feel like helped me in terms of communication, understanding marketing. So like I've always been into music. So I started singing when I was 6 years old. And my mom, she was the choir director. And you know the little Tina Turner story. In the beginning, it was like this little bitty girl. When it was the adults, like that was me. And so very early on, my mom broke that habit of being afraid to stand on stages. So I was in talent shows. all the time. And I remember one time my mom was like, listen, I lost a talent show. And she was like, if you're going to keep crying like that, I'm not going to let you do this, you know? And I mean, I'm like 6. I'm like, you know, and it really helped me because I started to learn how to never be afraid to step in front of someone, you know, and I learned over time and like being a child and singing and being in talent shows, how to communicate what you plan to talk about, what you want someone to experience, and just get past that fear. You know, and so I meet a lot of people like they are my age, older or younger. And I mean, they have this huge fear of speaking in front of people, being able to articulate themselves, you know, like, and I had an opportunity very early on to work through that. I remember I used to be on stage, and have you ever been so afraid, like your leg is shaking and there's literally no saliva in your mouth? Mm-hmm. Like, it's like the Sahara Desert. Like, there's nothing there. And I used to be deathly afraid. So much so, I would sing and get on stages and keep my eyes closed the whole time. So I'd be like, this little light of mine. You know, and I mean, I was not moving. I wasn't looking at people. My mom was like, girl, that's not going to work. So what she did is she made me sit in a room with her. And I would have to practice looking in her face, looking in her eyes, like, because she was like, you need to learn eye contact, communication, you know, so like very early on, just being in music and being on stages, it really helped me to develop my ability to communicate, and it removed a lot of fear of standing on stages. There's not too many times I'm speaking in front of someone that I'm afraid. You know, sometimes I might be nervous if I wasn't prepared, but there's not a lot of fear, you know, because you also realize, hey, you came to see me. You know what I'm saying? I'm up here, you over there, you know? So, you know, that helped me a lot. And what also helped is that those skills were transferable in any area I decided to choose to be in, you know? So I've always been entrepreneurial, always done different things in businesses, always have been extremely serious about whatever it is that I want to do, you know? And I love to help people. I love to see people have that light bulb moment, you know, and I'm like a advocate for folks. Like, you know, if somebody's being bullied or somebody's trying to belittle, like I'm showing up all black, we ride at dawn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I just believe that there are so many amazing people in the world who just have not had the support that they need, you know? And so I got into business development, which then kind of transitioned into community development once I moved to Birmingham. And I just saw the community I lived in, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of great things happening, but, you know, how do we support people, right? How do we help them to have a space, a voice, and a place in a community that they've been in, but that is rapidly changing? You know, so I was tapped to help to solve that, right? How do we support people? And everybody knows about gentrification, right? So I've been living in the neighborhood 10, 15, 20 years where nobody even wanted to come over here. And now all of a sudden it's a coffee shop, right? Now all of a sudden I see people cycling up the road, you know, and everybody's now so interested in this new place that's revitalized, you know? But what does that mean for me? Because I've been here. I've been baking cakes in my kitchen. You know, maybe not out of license, but, you know, I've been baking cakes, you know. So why don't I have the same opportunities to start the next bake shop in my neighborhood? Who's coming to find me? Who's coming to resource me and to make sure that I can benefit from the new economic vitality that's happening in my community? So I was tapped to help support that. And in doing that work, I just became more and more interested in how our communities developed. Right? Like, why do some places look different than others? Why do some places have more resources than others? Right? Like, and what does that mean for business development? What does that mean for economic development? And what does that mean for a community? And so, I just jumped in, and understanding how to communicate an idea helped me to even be able to transition into that space, you know? So it's a lot more, but I think just me growing up and having to be on stages and then transitioning to really wanting to help people, like communication has been the through line through all of that.
That's really good. And that also makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because you are very comfortable in front of people, which is something I really admire because, baby,
leave me alone.
You know, but that makes so much sense that you were literally trained to make sure you can make eye contact and have that presence. That shout out to your mom.
You know, shout out to her. It's a little more layered than that. But I will never take away from all of the investment that she made early on, because it truly was transformational. And as a child, like, obviously, like, I was upset because I used to be in the house. Everybody outside playing. I'm in the house having to learn, having to do all these different things, But as an adult, I'm super appreciative of that because that skill has carried me for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy that we got to understand the lore of Alycia, because let me tell you, she had came. So this is how it all started. This is how we got to this moment right here. So she had came and spoke to one of my entrepreneurship classes. And this was like around going on 2 years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Dang, it flew by fast. Yeah. But anyway, so she came and spoke, and everybody and all the students were like, oh my goodness, she speaks so well. And then we end up taking a field trip here at the co-working and event space. And I was like, it was you and this other girl that had came and spoke for the class. And this is like me going on sophomore year. I'm a senior now. And I was like, she speaks so well. I was like, I want to be like that. And so everything, I just been trying to practice my skills when it comes like to the podcast and like in marketing overall. So how would you say like having the ability to speak to audiences and speak confidently has helped you with your marketing and entrepreneurship?
It's, like I was saying, it's been everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's been everything. So I'll go back and give another example of, and I'm giving these examples because I think it's important for us,
good.
even to practice it, right? So I may mention that I started when I was 6, but if you're 36, if you're 35, 26, intentionally put yourself in spaces that are uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
like, because you never will start to be able to work things out or practice it until you're willing to get uncomfortable. And most people don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna sit in my cocoon. I'm gonna use the fact I'm an introvert. I like to be at home as an excuse, and you never really push yourself to start to develop the skills you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have another thing that was super pivotal for me, or transformational, should I say, is I have journals. All right, I'm about to take you back.
Give us the
year. Okay. I have a journal from 1999.
Same.
That's when my brother was born.
Okay.
So we're talking about, almost 24 years ago, right? You know what I mean? So I was a little girl journaling, and to this day, I write all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So not only, because another thing is we have to learn, because you know how sometimes you'll be talking to somebody and you like, that is not how I meant for that to come out.
Right.
Like, no. In my head, it sounded one way, in my mouth it came out. It's just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So journaling was also something that was very important because I had so many emotions and thoughts as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would do is I would just write them. And so it helped me to learn how to take in my head, take it out and put it on paper, and then look at what I was thinking and then synthesize it, simplify it, and really make sense of what I'm feeling, and then be able to articulate that to people. So even now, if I get like upset, like instead of like being, nasty, which,
you can be.
You know what I'm saying? If we need to go there, you know what I'm saying? It helps me to better articulate when I'm having a challenge with someone, to get to the actual root of the challenge and not just be so engulfed with my emotions, But that ability has carried me because when you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, nobody knows better what you want to accomplish than you. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is, do people understand what you want to accomplish? Do they understand the product? Do they understand the service? And so a lot of times you hear people talk about, you got to know the problem. You got to know the problem. But if you don't even know how to articulate the problem, and not only articulate it, but to make everyone else a raving fan of what you're talking about, you will just be another person with a really good idea and then become very jaded because you feel like, don't nobody support me. My cousins won't, my auntie won't, But it's like you have to learn how to say what it is that you want other people to understand about a product, a service that you're offering, and then say it in such a way where it's whatever you got, I want. Mm-hmm. Whatever you tell me you're doing, we going. Mm-hmm. It's important to be able to, communicate in that way.
Mm-hmm. That's part of what we do as marketers. So we try to help people translate what it is they do, why it is they do it, into a message that is going to resonate with the people they needed to resonate with. And a lot of times what we find when we're talking to clients, especially like in discovery calls, they have never written down or articulated what it is they're doing. And so that's usually kind of the crux of the problem. It's like you have to, the Bible say, write it down and make it plain. Like you actually do have to get it out of you first so that you can read it back, synthesize it, and then do something with it. So I love that you shared that. And I'm curious to know, from your experience as someone who has been working in this community development space, economic development space, we know that storytelling and narrative building is really big when we start talking about areas and spaces. And so how have you seen just the ability to tell the story of a place impact how it is revitalized or not?
That's a really good question. Well, just to double down what we are talking about, we know when we think about anything in life, the reason we know most things is because it's a story, right? You'll hear somebody speak and they can say a lot of good things, but you remember the story. You know, you're like, oh no, because they got the baby with the thing and then they went over, and they said 15 other things, but you remember the story because that is how we have learned, right? When we think about, now listen, I'm a woman of faith, okay? In the beginning was the word.
Right.
Was the word, right? And everything we know about, we're reading it through a story. We are reading the Bible through somebody else's story, through their lens, right? Their experience. Everything we do is in story, through history, hieroglyphics. Everything is told through a story, right? That's why we know history, and so it's important because if you're not careful, people will try to tell a certain story about you. And so that's the connection I've seen, especially in community development, is helping people to reclaim their narratives, right? Because even when you think about, we're currently sitting in the city of Birmingham. I'm sure publicly there is a narrative about Birmingham. We've been in the news quite some for some things,
Bang, bang.
But it's important for us to tell our own story, right? Like, it is really key to understand the components of what makes a place beautiful, what makes a place vibrant. And it's the people, it's the history, it's the folks that stay, it's it's all these different things. And so narrative and storytelling is quite honestly one of the most important things in community development and when you're trying to help revitalize a place. Because even the folks that hold the money, right, that hold the bag, all they want to know is this story. They want to know, and you have your impact reports. People make the impact reports and they put the percentages of this and 2% this and all the sometimes lies. They put that stuff in there. Okay. They put it in there, but you take the people and you put them in front of folks who got money, something changes because there's just something so tangible and something so persuasive about hearing from someone in their experience, and I think that's why media is so important. Even now, somebody can throw out a quick, I want to say lie. They could throw out a quick lie, right? Or I'll say it like this. They can take a story and frame it a certain way. Yeah. And people don't even ask questions.
No questions.
Ain't nobody reading no article. Ain't nobody trying to go do no research. We ain't finding no links. We not looking for no video. They've taken a story, a narrative, and they framed it in a certain way and it catches fire. It's like a wildfire, So stories, communication, framing, media, all these things are so important because quite honestly, stories and the things we've experienced is why we see the world the way we see it now, Because I'm sure there's different stories people have told us that we haven't even, if our mom and dad told us something, my cousin told us something, that was law,
that's
baby.
What happened.
That's law. And they say, baby, you got to burn, you put that on there, because one time when I was younger, okay, grandma, whatever you say, what I'm saying? We're not asking no questions because that's a story. Like we make decisions, we see the world through stories, So it's key and it helps communities to be able to reclaim their stories because especially in a lot of Black and brown communities, people have stories about the people there before they even go there. But what's amazing is once they take ownership of their land, they change the story. Right? So before it's like, don't go, you must never go there. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, don't ever go there, And then all of a sudden, this is the best place in America. It's the safest place. Come walk your dog, People are always switching and changing narratives. So it's important to know yours. And it's important to have a clear understanding of what's important,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're talking about like storytelling and in the media because that was literally our last episode we were talking about storytelling. So how do you portray your story about your business in your media?
That's good. So the thing that's important to me is I think when you are telling a story in any industry, you have to understand people want to know why, who you are, why you, and how, right? So for me, I first tell people about who I am. What qualifies me to do what it is that I do? And what is my passion behind it, right? And then because of that, why I'm doing what I'm doing who I'm doing it for and how I plan to accomplish it, you know? And so I land really squarely on what's important to me in the work that I do. Because a lot of times people are like, I just want to be around you because you're passionate. I can tell you care about what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you care, I believe you're going to do it. Like, you know, so it's really letting people know like who you are, why you do what you do, who you're doing it for, and how you plan to accomplish it, you know? So anytime anybody comes in to ask me about Polaris or do a tour, you know, I automatically double down on what Polaris even means. The definition of it is a scientific name for the North Star. And historically, in times of enslavement, the North Star was a sign of freedom. When people were stolen from their land, separated from their families, their culture, their identity, their language, and stripped of everything that they knew, somehow we survived. And this bright star in this sky was the only thing we had to move toward freedom. We didn't even know where it really went. Because once somebody started going toward it, you ain't never see them again. But our belief was, if I just look at this star, it's going to take me somewhere. But then also the beautiful thing about history, right, is that as I'm going toward this star, there are houses and things along the way to help me. Somebody's going to put a blanket out in the window to let me know that this is a safe space. I can sleep here for the night. Somebody's going to put an apple pie in the window to let me know if you're on your way toward freedom, you can stop here and you can find something to eat, right? So it is a symbol of freedom and it's a symbol of support. And so people, when I tell people that, they're like, well, what else you in here doing? You know what I mean? It's like, baby, you done took me to church. I'm locked in. So when I connect that to, this is the North Star for entrepreneurs. You have been told that your ideal is not good enough. You have been told that you're not smart enough. You don't have enough degrees or you haven't done this. No one's ever encouraged you. Come here. We got you. We're going to help you. What do you need? Who can we connect you to? We're going to get you where you're trying to go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just important for people to know the why. And when you're creating a business, you need to think that deeply about it. Mm-hmm. When you're making a business, you need to think about the story you're getting ready to tell people. Because if you're trying to get support, you're trying to get funding, people are going to want to know why. And you can't be like, oh, because I make really, really great cakes. You know, like I'm a really, really great graphic designer. So what? Mm-hmm. Baby, I could put some flour in a bowl. You know what I'm saying? I could get on Canva, baby, you know what I'm saying, and trick you up and down. It's gonna be $5,000 for this poster. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is unique, and what makes you unique? You know, people a lot of times don't think about, like, when they think about unique value proposition, it could be multiple things, and your unique value prop can also be your story. Mm-hmm. The businesses that we know the most about, we love the story behind it, right? Like what's that man's name? Steve Jobs. Oh, you know, Steve, the black neck, you know, he did all this. He in the garage, you know what I'm saying? Now, he's an outlier, and it's called Outliers. I think everybody should read because he wasn't that special. Good. Mm-hmm. He's very good. However, though, the things that we interact with are the stories that we love the most, right? Like, I like that because you don't even know if them folks telling the truth or not.
Don't know.
But you connected to it because you feel like you know the story, you know? So the way I connect my story to my business is, before I even opened the business, I knew the story that I wanted to tell. I knew that people were going to ask me why. Why you? Why should we? And I needed to be very clear on who we are, why we do what we do, and why I do what I do. That's good. You know, so think when you're starting a business, or if you're in business, if you haven't thought about it, go back and really think about what's the story you telling? Mm-hmm. And does it compel people to do anything? Or are they like, okay, awesome. Yeah, give me your email. Please hurry up and get on my face. You know what I'm saying? Are they really intrigued to engage with you because you have shown them that you have a vision? All people want to know is, do you have a vision? Where are you going? Mm-hmm. And if you got a vision and you tell me where you're going, I'm going to go with you. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it even better if you're honest. Which I am. I'm a woman of integrity. You know what I mean? So it's doubly great. You know, but it's important. You know, people want to know, do you have a vision? As a business owner, entrepreneur, what is your vision? When you think about Microsoft, he said, we want to have a desktop in every house in the world. When he first said that, probably sounded insane. But now it is the reality. People gave him money. They did all types of things. I can't think of his name. He started, it's this company called, it's the co-working space. WeWork.
Oh.
Adam Newman.
That was wild.
That man had a vision full of lies.
Wow.
But it was a vision. And a bank gave him $1 billion.
What's the girl who was talking about we was gonna be able to take blood, like run tests?
Yep. Her.
And was copying off of, I think, Steve Jobs in terms of how she presented. She defrauded investors out of billions
of dollars. She's now in prison.
She's in prison.
She's now in prison. Adam is not. You know, with the founder of WeWork, somebody's actually getting ready to invest $100 million into a new company, because they said, well, I mean, I guess he learned a lot from losing $1 billion. Mm-hmm. Now, let's be clear. Let's pull back a little bit on that, because we know
exactly.
We could never,
So
there are some factors in there that
some variables
that made it possible for this man and this woman to have access to that type of capital, and no one to belittle them because they failed. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we don't get that type of runway. Mm-mm. We don't get that type of grace. But the point of telling that story was vision. Mm-hmm. People want to know, where are you going? What do you want? And if you can clearly articulate, this is where we're going, this is what I want, even if you own a way there, people will still be willing to ride with you and support that, So don't start something if you don't even know what story you're telling. Mm-hmm. Get clear.
Mm-hmm. Got to. I want you to talk a little bit more about like the resource that Polaris is, right? So auntie up the street who is baking the cakes, who may not know exactly how to move forward, like what are some of the tools and the resources she can get access to by coming to Polaris?
Absolutely. But the first thing is space and community, right? We run it all over, going to coffee shops, sitting in I know I'll be working in the car, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just need a place to sit and be stable, right? And to meet and connect with other people, or to run into somebody and somebody be like, what you doing? What you got going on, right? Or to be encouraged in that way. But also we have an online membership where there are courses on there, there's classes, there's all types of things, workshop series, like doing all, and really a lot of the workshop series is I'm asking people questions. I remember, and this is like a personal story with Kayla, so we are 2 years into this physical space, and I'm like, okay, we got to adjust. Another thing, this is not the topic, but as a business owner, you got to be agile. Mm-hmm. You have to be agile. You have to be willing to pivot, and you can never be married to what you deem as a solution, because it will change. Be married to the problem, but be okay with being open to changing the whatever that solution looks like. So, I remember one time I was like, Kayla, listen, what's working well? What's not working well? And I call her and multiple other people, because I need to know. I need to understand. I'm never too big to think that what I originally thought is still how it needs to be. Because my job is to serve the people honestly, right? So I said all that to say, also when we're doing workshops, I'm literally asking people, like, what you need to learn? Sometimes people email me like, can you do something on time management? And I'm like, okay, let me go find the experts. Mm-hmm. So workshops are there, space is there, podcasting is there. You want to test out your retail concept. We have space for a retail concept, right? You need to host a workshop. You need to test out, okay, well, I think I'm really good at speaking and doing workshops. I wonder if anybody will show up. Let's test it out. We have support. We'll help put the graphics. We'll help set up the registration, right? My goal is to get you started and to help you to figure it out fast without the fear of judgment, and having a safe space to say, this ain't working. And let's say, okay, well, let's figure it out. Who can we connect you to, right? The goal is to nurture the dreams of God's people in a safe space. Like there's nothing worse than wasted potential. That hurts my heart. I think that is something that drives me every day. Like, and I've had to learn through trial and error. Now everybody just don't want to do it. And I had to be okay with that.
Yes.
But for the most part, most people, they want to do something great. Nobody is born on this earth and is like, man, I can't wait to be unhoused, living under a bridge. No purpose, no potential, just meandering through the world. Nobody says that. Everybody wants to be safe. Everybody wants to be heard and to feel loved and to feel valued and to make some type of significant impact. Everybody wants to do that. But most of the time, our circumstances, our life, what people have said to us, they hinder us, right? And so I'm like, listen, I'm going for the one. I'm going for the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me find you, because one person and one word can change their life. They just need somebody to believe in them. So when we talking to Auntie up the street, what's the idea, Auntie? Now, for me, you got to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to listen and to be okay with the things you don't know. And it's okay because no one's going to make you feel bad for that. But there are all types of resources and then just personal support that would be provided to help you to think through what your next is, because there's also a wealth, economic, and opportunity gap in our country. And we know that entrepreneurship, business ownership, even if it's a side hustle, is a generator and an accelerator to help you get closer to some type of financial freedom. Because even if you add in the extra $1,000 or $2,500 to your bottom line, that goes a long way, you know? So it's also helping people to see their gifts, skills, and talents as a way to get them where they need to go, you know, and at least be able to provide some breathing room in their lives.
Mm-hmm. So while we're on the topic of you building your community in your co-working and event space, I was talking the other day to Kayla about how community and who you surround yourself with matters, and that's even on the social media part aspects of things. So like if you get other people to reshare and repost your thing, their community merges with your community, and then that's how you get more impressions and all the things. So can you talk about how you surround yourself with a community of people that uplifts your marketing on and offline? So
that's good. So I'll start with offline. Mm-hmm. Offline is key to really be around people who have a similar vision or higher. You know, like I'm not around anybody who don't know how to talk about themselves correctly. Seriously. Who don't know how to talk about their life right. If you don't understand the power of your words, like it's not too much we gonna be doing. And if I'm around you, I'm gonna constantly be correcting you. Like, why would you say that? You know what I'm saying? So it's important for me to be around people who are like, I want more. Even if they're not there, like I want more. I'm willing to grow. Like I'm willing to learn. And then finding people who are way above where you want to be. Mm. Or in different industries or different fields, you know, because another part of like a clear communication strategy is you got to learn. You got to be willing to learn. And you got to be willing to read.
She's shooting shots at me, y'all. I've been reading though.
It's words in books, not just hearing words.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be with people. Don't want to read. You don't want to learn. You want to take what you know at this moment to be law, and you want it to take you as far as you can go. And you're gonna get left behind because the world is ever changing. You need to be reading articles. Sign up for every newsletter. Know what's going on. Right? Read books. Learn about other perspectives, you know? And so you can't do that sometimes if you're not around certain people. Because certain people, they just good with being where they at. Mm. They like, nah, I'm straight. So finding people who will help you to learn and being different. And even if you don't even think you're interested in the industry, learn. Sign up for the newsletter. Go meet somebody. Mm. Be willing to be like, hey, I just, you know, it's great. I want to meet you. Can I take you to lunch? Have some questions, you know? So for me, it's finding people who are seriously committed to their desires, their goals. They're authentic people. Who live integrity. There's a lot of liars out here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? People who are honest, right? Who are trying to accomplish something. And then those folks who are above where I want to be, who can say, you not doing that right. Did you even know that was a resource? Why are you filing your taxes like that? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? You got to know people who got bigger problems than you. I remember we was talking to somebody one day, me and my husband, and we were like, oh my God, we have to pay like $5,000 in taxes. He was like, I pay $150,000 a month. I said, let me take my little broke nigga around. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to find somebody with some bigger problems than you. Because it helps you to put stuff in perspective. Mm-hmm. I'm not even where I really think I am. It's more to this thing. It's more to go, right? And I'm okay with the big girl problems. Because if I'm paying you $150 a month, you know what I'm talking about?
What I'm bringing
in. We outside. You know? So really surrounding yourself with people who are further than you or have bigger challenges in a positive way. And then online, it's important to know who's in your industry. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not one of those people who really are big into networking nights because it's just it's weird to me.
Contrived.
Let me go into this room with strangers and let's figure out how we're gonna treat people based on their title.
Mm. Who can I get the most out of?
What do you do? Why? How do you care? You know? So I find myself asking people, instead of what do you do? I'm like, hey, my name is, what are you passionate about?
That's good.
What problem in the world do you want to solve? Let's have a more authentic conversation. Except for I'm the CEO, the deputy director, the chief leader, officer of the pudding pie. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? It's true.
Because what's your character like?
Well, who are you? Mm-hmm. Because when we do business, that's going to be the most important thing. Mm-hmm. Can I trust you? Are you about what you say you're about? You know what I'm saying? So online, it's important to know who's in your industry. You got to meet people. So it may not be the networking night, but people really do respond to messages on LinkedIn. If somebody that you want to meet is having a conference or there's an industry, go to the conference. Go to the workshop. Don't just be sitting there in the corner looking weird, eat your turkey sandwich. Go up and talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Put the QR code on your phone. Already have a game plan. This is what I want to learn. This is what I want to understand. Find associations to be a part of, leadership groups. Get involved. So online, when you start to do things, people have met you in person, they're already like, no, I like her. I like him. So when you do, they're going to share it. Mm-hmm. Just today, I met somebody a couple weeks ago virtually. My camera was off. I was tired. I was like, girl, I was up all night with these kids. I'm sorry, girl, but I promise you I'm a professional. And we had a very good, authentic conversation. Mm-hmm. She was like, hey, I got some colleagues coming in from Nashville, our headquarters. Do you think I could just bring them by? Yes, you can.
No.
Right? But it's because you got to authentically and genuinely connect with people. Find people in your industry. Reach out to people. So when you are doing something, the point of sharing that story is because when you are doing something, you will be top of mind for folks. And then when you get in front of them, it's your job to communicate and show up well and to do what you said you're going to do.
That works the other way too, right? So before you go into that room, into that conference where you're able to meet people, how you show up online, if they're able to come across you there, that makes for warmer conversations. And that's a big part of what we do, right? And that's why we say it's important, because the warmer a lead can be, the better off for you. Mm-hmm. So if they have seen you and you've been authentic online and they can tell that you've surrounded yourself with people, then they're going to be more interested in meeting you and connecting with you in real life.
Yes.
Ask me how I know. And so it's this cyclical thing, but it allows you to really kind of amplify what it is you're doing. I tell people all the time, like, to me, social media and digital marketing is about having the one-on-one conversations that you have with people, just with a lot more people at one time. Mm-hmm. That's really all it is. Mm-hmm. How can I have this same conversation just with more people at one time? And then go from there. So yeah, I think that is. I'm glad you said that. And one of the other things you mentioned, because you mentioned the reading bit, which I love, but even talking about like essentially becoming comfortable in front of an audience as a child. What are some of the other like transferable skills either you have or you think would be important for young folks or anybody interested in marketing, interested in entrepreneurship, for them to really focus on, to make sure they have?
That's good. And I'm going to, from how I heard you say it, I'm going to try my best to answer it. If I miss it, pull me back in and be like, ma'am, that is not what I was asking you. But pretty much like the transferable skills that you learn from being in public spaces and doing public speaking, because essentially that's what it was. It's 6, and then transferring that over to the marketing world. Like, what are some things? I think, one, like we talked about earlier, just being comfortable in front of people. When you walk into a room, I have like my 3 C's, it's confidence, it's competence, and it's another one I forgot, so maybe it's 2 for today, but one of them is confidence. So one transferable skill that goes everywhere, before you walk in a room, people can feel you. Somehow when I go into certain spaces, I become the group leader. I'll be like, I didn't ask for that. But people can sense when you sit with yourself well. And a lot of times, if you are unsure of yourself, people feel like whatever you got going on is not as stable. So I think a transferable skill is confidence, right? Being able to articulate an idea or a vision in front of people. You have to know how to do that. If you weren't in marketing, if you were a doctor, if you were attorney, even if you think about being an attorney, all they do is storytelling.
That's all they do.
They're storytellers.
For $500 an hour.
They take the pieces of everything you told them and they wrap it into a story, true or not. Everything we do is around storytelling, right? So confidence, being able to articulate a vision, right? Like, and then also being able to take a thing. It's like, so all them papers y'all want to do where your teacher was like, put the subject first and then the body and all that. That's storytelling too. So a transferable skill is the order in which you say things. Make it succinct. Because I'm going to tell you, like, a pet peeve of mine is whatever, talking to people and they be all around the world. Because, baby, my brain be like, get to the point. Right? Because you can say what you need to say in a very succinct way. Get to the point. So a transferable skill is being able to clearly, concisely, and quickly get to the point so people can make a decision. So we can move on to the next thing. But when somebody's talking round and round and they don't know how to land a plane, people have already mentally landed the plane and they somewhere else. You're not going to get what you're looking for out of them. They can't trust you. You can't even get to the point. Because it's sales. Even if you're not exchanging money, you're selling something. You're selling your vision. You're selling your abilities. You're selling your capability. It's sales. Sales, communication, marketing is all the same thing, right? Being able to concisely and quickly say a point. Confidence, being able to articulate your ideas, being able to put them in an order which tells a story. You know, like those are the things that are really, really important.
Angelina, what other questions do you have?
Okay, I got one more question.
Okay.
I want to take us back to when we were talking about marketing in front of other people and we like networking. So for the introverts, you would say, how would you like tell them to go up to someone and to just spark that conversation without sounding like a sales pitch or something, like just that natural flow?
That's a good question. I think there's a few things. So one is going to be like a very nice answer, and then one is going to be a little tough love. So, you know, one part of it is, you know, if you're an introvert and you're like, listen, I'm only trying to be in here for 30 minutes, go in with a game plan. Go in with a game plan, right? What do you want to accomplish? Now, your goal is not to go up and to use people, but have a plan so that you don't get weirded out and you don't like the odd person in the corner, or you walk in and you just turn around. Have a plan. What do I hope to accomplish tonight? Maybe sometimes you don't know who's going to be there. At some networking nights, you do know who's going to be there based on who's hosting it. If you don't know who's going to be there, go on with a plan. I want to meet at least 3 people. I'm going to meet 3 people. I'm going to give my contact to 3 people, and I'm going to start just getting myself out there. So make a plan before you go.
That's good.
Have your QR code. Say, I got my QR code on my phone. And then sometimes when you're out, there's other people who look just as uncomfortable as you. So you can talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what's your name? You feel okay because you already went with a plan. If you know who's going to be in the room and there's people you want to meet specifically, know who's going to be in the room, write their name down, go on LinkedIn, go on their website, understand what they do, and introduce yourself to them. Hey, my name is Angelina. I came here. I love what you do. I really appreciate the work that you do. I'm in marketing and I would just love to connect with you. Like, is it okay to, follow you on LinkedIn? Because the first time you ain't got to be all on people's neck like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be weird. You know what I mean? Because you like, can I go to lunch with you? I don't know you. I don't want to go to lunch with you. But spend some time, like, get for real. The first time is really just about introducing yourself. The second time, you remind them of who you are. The third time, you can, you know what I'm saying? You can make a little close. First time, hey, my name is Angelina. I do this. It's great to meet you. Thank you so much for what you do. I'm going to follow you on LinkedIn. Hope to see you somewhere else soon. If you're a stalker, in a good way, you just figure out where they're going to be at next. Hey, I just met you at so-and-so. It's great to see you again. I don't know if you remember, but I do marketing, and I would love to. Can I send you an email? Just share a little bit more about what I do. And then the third time, hey, girl, I know you remember me. So is it okay? I would love to go to lunch with you and talk a little bit more about what I shared with you. Have a plan. And I understand like the introversion part of things because technically I say technically.
No, you're not.
I really like to be, but I could be by myself all day. When I used to work like at a office, at a job, like I literally would get my lunch. I would park my car toward the street and eat by myself because I was like, there's no way I could eat amongst people.
Oh, like, my goodness. I can't believe that.
Yes, I would turn the heat on. I was so happy. It was quiet. Wasn't nobody talking to me. That sounded like a dream. I turned the heat on. I wouldn't talk to nobody. Couldn't nobody see me. I could chew it. I could just do what I want to do. I could just be alone. Because when you're problem solving all the time, like you just like, I don't want to be on. So I really enjoy solitude. I really do. Like I could just be by myself with a journal and some tea and just be in bliss. But however, I have work to do in the world. So I got to get up and I got to figure it out. So for the people who want to use being introverts as an excuse, stop that. Stop that. If you're okay with being like mediocre and being normal and like not accomplishing anything in the world and utilizing that as a crutch, like keep doing your thing. But if you like, I really want to do something, I really want to make impact, then get your tail up, get you a plan, and stop.
I got to add to that because I love shouting out my friend David, who is I don't know anybody who networks better than David. And I remember asking him, I said, David, give me some networking advice. And David said, figure out how you can help other folks. That's what you go in the room with.
That's
not
it.
Who can help me? How can I help
That's good.
everybody? David said, I want to be the most valuable contact in your phone.
That is it.
And that changed everything for me.
That's
So
it.
because it changes how you show up in the room, because I'm no longer trying to get people to like, who can I help? Who do I know?
Yep.
And it doesn't matter where you are in your career. You can, your favorite word, value, you can bring value to anybody.
Yep.
There is something that you have that they need.
Yep.
Figure it out. There are
That's it.
people you know that they don't know. There are things you know that they may not know. If you approach everything with how can I help other people, it is going to come back around to you naturally.
Absolutely. I heard one of my internet friends, his name is Humble, and he said the very same thing. He was like, if you help people get what they need, there's nothing that you won't have. Like, and that's not even how he said it verbatim, but pretty much if you help other people, everything you need is going to come to you. And I think that's very good. And that is a lot of times, most of the times, my approach. I'm not going in like, I'm like, okay, what y'all working on? What y'all over here doing? Okay, well, let me I could connect the dots. And people will be like, okay, I want this person. They're going to
They will go out of their way to
Yes.
figure out how to help.
because you've helped solve a problem for them. You know what I'm saying? You didn't come to your point trying to figure out what can I get from you, because people come to folks all the time like, what can I get from you? But if you like, how can I help you? Once you do that, we can talk about anything you got going on. And if you do a great job, baby, I'll go to bat for you to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know somebody right now who I just love. Like, I love them. And they do so well helping me. There was an opportunity with the company I was working for to get a contract. It's yours. It's yours. And I mean, it wasn't no small money either. It's yours. Because you consistently help me to solve problems. So the moment I can put your name in a room, what are you saying? Mm. I will gladly go to bat for you because I've seen what you can do. And I can vouch for you. So I think that is very, 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 very key, especially when we talk about having a little plan. Also going in like, how can you help people? Like, what you working on right now? What do you need help? What's your biggest pain point? Mm-hmm. What problem are you trying to solve? You know what I'm saying? People gonna be like, what problem am I trying to solve? You know, and that changes the conversation for sure.
For sure. Well, as y'all can see, talking about value, while we had to have...
Why y'all just be that passive aggression?
That wasn't passive at all.
You feel like that was passive aggressive?
Yeah, it's because okay.
This finna be very direct. I wasn't even thinking about you when I said, I'm talking about literally, she is valuable.
Your favorite word, value.
That's good. She knows you.
I'm just playing with Kayla.
Trying to connect the dots for her.
I'm just playing.
But anyway, as you can see, I don't know if we know a more valuable resource.
Man, glory to God.
Than Miss Alycia
Yes,
Levels-Moore.
Glory to God.
And we probably gonna have to do a part 2.
I know.
Listen, baby, I'm up the street.
And why she talking about reading?
Up the street.
Why is she talking about reading? Drop your top 3 books that you want the audience to read.
Good. So it is one. It is the shoot.
Come on now.
No, I want to say the right word. So one is Unreasonable Hospitality.
Okay.
That is a good book because I think too in business we don't do a good job at understanding that customer service is the number one key, and it's not for your.
No,
it's not,
but that point there.
Yeah. It's not your customer's job to serve your needs.
That part there.
Whenever my people say, baby, what you talking about? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Listen, let's problem solve, right? Mm-hmm. So it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. Mm-hmm. It's another one. I want to get the name. There we go. Never Split the Difference. Mm-hmm. It's a book about negotiation. And I read and listen to a lot of stuff on human behavior because a lot of times we just trying to start businesses based on what we think people need. You got to understand human behavior. Mm-hmm. You have to understand communication, emotional intelligence. You have to understand what people need and how to articulate what they need back to them. But Never Split the Difference, Unreasonable Hospitality. I have my book here. And it's my book list. And the other one that is really, really good is called For the Culture. By Marcus Collins, and it is a book on marketing, and it's so interesting when he talks about these companies and how they take these messages and they get people to see the world through a different lens. It's very good. So For the Culture, Marcus Collins, Unreasonable Hospitality, and Never Split the Difference.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Get into it. Do the kids do this anymore? Are we doing this? Or is...
That's enough.
Okay.
There it is. I mean, what's the difference between that and what you be liking to do?
Be you. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Okay, but I mean, I also want kids to be like, girl, like people who still say crunk is crazy to me.
Did you say that last week?
I literally don't say that. I haven't said this.
I'm just playing.
But no, I was saying like people who say crunk. So I like when I hear people who say crunk,
I've never heard anybody.
I've heard something. It was like 4 months ago. I was like, crunk
How was that? That's an unk. It was an unk who said that. Yeah. The unk.
So I don't want to.
He described something as
They was like, that was so crunk. I said, whoa. So, I don't want to be out here like this and I look like I'm saying crunk. It's like the body, version of saying crunk. So stop me.
Okay.
Help me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
finish that.
I want to stay on track.
Throw it in the trash.
It was really fun while it lasted.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crunk is crazy.
But anyway. Well, y'all, we appreciate you for tuning in to this very valuable conversation. Yeah. Where can the people find you on the internet?
Yes. So I'm on LinkedIn, Alycia Levels-Moore. Our website is Polaris BHM, so Polaris BHM.com. Our economic development, community development consulting, ASL Creative Firm.com. Alycia Levels.com. Baby, don't play domain.
Yeah, no,
okay.
You got it.
And so but pretty much if you can find me Alycia Levels-Moore, that's ALYCIA Levels LEVLS -Moore MOORE. If you just put that in, you can find all different type of information.
Stamp that.
Well, make sure y'all go follow her, get connected with her, come to Polaris if you're in the Birmingham area. And of course follow us, a marketing podcast, on all of the things as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Until next time, y'all.
Alrighty.
We do one last time.
Bye, y'all.
What's up, G-Way? With my...
Y'all, I'm with the aunties. I'm with the aunties.